All right, let's do this. Okay, we are live in all the places. Oh my goodness. All right, my loves. I have to just tell you too, as we get into it tonight, I'm feeling not heavy, but just feeling a bit emotional. Have any of you, if you're joining live, have you watched Heal yet, the documentary? I was watching part of it tonight over dinner, and I think it just struck me how so many people are hurting. And it spoke a lot to my own journey of, cancer healing over this past year or two. And it just really struck me how important this information is that we're talking about tonight, because any level of you feeling bad in your body, which shows up as resistance, not only will it block you from what you want, but it can also manifest as disease in your body. It can manifest as all the stuff that you don't want. So it got me. It got me. So you may sense that energy for me tonight, but this is just about being really real and raw. Timothy, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. If you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, pop a comment so I can see that you're here. So if you were here yesterday, I want to start off with, what was your biggest takeaway from what we talked about? Maybe you watched the replay, maybe you were here live. Hey, Allison, how are you? But what was your biggest takeaway that you took from the conversation last night? It was a lot of information, and it was kind of probably like drinking out of a fire hose, but I'm really curious what stuck with you the most. Yes, let's do this, Allison. We are in it. Hey, Rochelle, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. So I'm going to do just a quick recap for any of you who were not here yesterday for the start of the series about what we talked about. And I don't know about you, but every time I talk about this, I get more and more excited, because it keeps sinking in how easy it is to get what you want when you just know the right information. So quick recap of what we talked about yesterday. We talked about what is actually holding you back from achieving your goals. And it's not what you think it is, okay? So really, I would say two key things that are holding you back from achieving what you want. Number one is limiting beliefs that are simply from incorrect programming. That's it. Limiting beliefs from incorrect programming. And it's totally reversible, by the way. The beautiful thing is it is totally reversible. Jamie is saying what's kind of the second piece of what we talked about, which is wonderful, which is your biggest takeaway from yesterday was how you feel is your result. Yeah. We're not taught that feelings are important, right? We're taught to push through it. We're taught it doesn't matter how you feel, do it anyway, suck it up, do it. And especially with how we're going to dive deeper into this tonight, you're going to start to see more and more how that's actually the total wrong thing to do if you want to achieve the results you're looking for quickly, easily, and in a way that dazzles you and blows you away. So that's really the second piece. So thank you, Jamie, for kind of teeing that up, which is, if you don't understand how to create what you want from the quantum model, which uses energy and vibration, you're going to feel stuck. Okay. So quantum physics was discovered roughly 1925, and it really, at a very basic level, which is what my brain wants, is how do we make this really basic? Because I'm not a quantum physicist, but I am really in love with the concept. Everything vibrates. Okay. So everything has a frequency. Your body has a frequency. Your table has a frequency. Again, the way we're connecting here, it's because we are all hopping on the same frequency for this live. And so I want to bring back, I shared this quote last night, but I think, especially if you're kind of new to some of this stuff, repeating this to yourself day after day after day after day until it sinks into your subconscious is so helpful. So this quote from Einstein, he said, "Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is science." Isn't that brilliant? All you have to do to get what you want, whether it's more money, love, health, relationships, is match the frequency, learn how to match the frequency of that thing that you want, and then it comes to you. This is not woo, this is not philosophy, this is merely science. And we have to take it on faith sometimes until it becomes our embodied experience. But I know that the fact that you're here tonight watching this, or you're watching the replay, means that you are interested and open to the fact that there may be a different way. And even if you haven't experienced this yet for yourself, you're probably willing to try, and you're willing to say, hey, the way I've been trying it has either gotten me results that I'm not happy about, or I feel stuck. Like I've gotten to a certain level and I feel stuck. So I'm just checking comments. Oh, David, you're here. Awesome. So good to see you. Not needing to know how right away. Oh my gosh. Yes. That was your biggest takeaway from last night. Yeah. Isn't that also like, aren't we told you have to know how to get something if you're going to do it? No, because the how doesn't live where you're at right now. If you don't have the thing yet, the how lives up here. So, and this actually, I'll just share really quick. This happened for me today. And I'm so glad you brought that up, David, because I'd set a new target that was really, really stretching me in my business. And when I set the target, I set it because I literally did not know how the heck it would happen, because I knew it would stretch. Like that's how I like to set goals now. And I said it and I was like, the how will reveal itself as I feel good about this thing and start to envision this and start to kind of live into that reality. And sure enough, today, 3 new ideas popped in that I'm just going to explore and see what shows up around it. But I can feel that I'm getting closer to the how for that thing. So you just follow the ideas and downloads that you get as you feel better and better, as you feel more the way that you know you're going to feel when you achieve your goal, and the things pop in. Okay. So, and it also, guys, if you have questions while we're doing this, like put them in the comments. I'm checking comments periodically, but I'm going to kind of roll here. So definitely though, put questions in the comments. So we read the Einstein quote about match the frequency of the thing you want and it must become your reality. There can be no other way. So the question that was popping in my mind when I first started learning this stuff was, how the heck do I match the frequency of what I want? Like that feels way over my head. What does this even mean? Okay. So your frequency, the way you match the frequency of what you want is by matching your thoughts and your feelings to how they're going to be when you get that thing. Okay. So let's do an example. And because a lot of the people who follow me are like, they're following because they want to make more money in their sales or their business. I'm going to use money as the example here, but use your language, fill in kind of what you're going for. So let's say that you want to create $1 million in your business. So when you want to think about what are the thoughts and feelings that you will have when you have that $1 million, that's how you match the frequency. So when you have it, when it actually happens for you, what would you be thinking? Would you be thinking scarcity thoughts like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills this month and I'm freaking out because I don't think I have enough money and yada, yada? No, right? You'd be thinking, holy crap, my bank account's flush. I'm so excited to be able to do what I want. I'm so excited to be able to, take this trip or buy this house or hire this team member. So that's how you have to start thinking now. And I know it feels counterintuitive, but this is how it works. So those would be the thoughts you'd be thinking, right? Now, what would be the feelings that you would be feeling? Would you be feeling like when you have that $1 million, would you be feeling like fear? Would you be feeling scarcity? Would you be feeling nervousness? Would you be feeling anxiety? No, right? You'd be feeling gratitude. You'd be feeling freedom. You'd be feeling full expression. You'd be feeling love. You'd be feeling expansion. So the key is you have to do those things first. You have to start thinking the thoughts that you're going to think when you have the thing, and you have to start feeling. The feelings are super important. You have to start feeling the feelings now. That elevates your frequency to match the frequency of the thing that you want. How do you know that you're on the right path? Is that you start to feel better, and you're going to feel better before there's any outward manifestation, okay? Because we live in time lag. So you're starting to plant new seeds, and there's just things have to play out in physical time. It's the way it works. So there's still going to be some lag time from when you start doing this to when you start to see the results, but you'll know you're on the right path because you're going to start to feel better. Your thoughts are going to be clearer, and then you'll start to see things line up. Okay. So that's how you know you're doing it right. So the thing that's going to hold you back from matching the frequency of what you want is simply unawareness of how things actually work. So it's not knowing this information. So you must consume information like this over and over and over and over again until it not just is something that you have in your head, like until you don't just know it logically, but you actually believe it. right? We talked last night about rewiring your subconscious and the fact that it's just a belief, like your beliefs run the show for your life. Your beliefs live in your subconscious mind. All a belief is a thought that you repeat to yourself over and over and over and over and over again. You must continuously consume information like this. And I would say like this series is amazing. I talk about this a lot on my other social media. Bob Proctor is also, I think, one of the best at explaining this. So, and I'm going to give you some other resources at the end that I think would be helpful. But I would say it is just absolute reprogramming again and again and again and again until you start to really understand at a cellular level how this works. Alexis is saying muscle memory. Exactly. And we talked last night about how do you know your subconscious has accepted a new belief? It's because when you say it to yourself, you don't feel like it's a lie anymore. You don't feel that tightening in your body. You don't feel whatever that body, again, our bodies tell us when something isn't true for us, which is pretty cool. So you don't feel that anymore. When you say it to yourself, you just feel like, oh yeah, that's true for me. Even if it's not your even if it hasn't happened in your physical world yet, it's just, oh yeah, that's true for me. So again, how do you know what frequency that you're on and whether you have Actually, I'm sorry, let me go back. I missed one thing that's important. So the thing that's holding you back from matching the frequency of what you want is unawareness of how this actually works. So now you know. So you're learning this, you're embodying this, you're starting to practice this. So that's great. You're on the right track. But that if you don't know, then it's going to show up. It's going to manifest as limiting beliefs, which are going to manifest as resistance to having the thing that you want. Those limiting beliefs will literally block what you want from coming to you. So we must dissolve them. It is critical that you dissolve these limiting beliefs. So for example, I used to say I wanted more money. I used to say I want a 7-figure business. But when I would say it, I would have a thought pop up of I could never have that. And then I would have a feeling in my body of constriction, which is like usually my chest and my stomach is where it'll show up. I would feel that. So that was resistance to having the thing. Where does that come from? It comes from the programming in your subconscious that tells you that money is bad, okay? Or that money's evil, or that you shouldn't be so greedy, right? Whatever the programming is that you got, especially as you were a little kid. We talked last night about from the ages of 0 to 7, you're a giant walking subconscious. So you're basically under hypnosis. And so anything you hear anyone saying on a TV ad, you hear your parents talking about, it programs you as that's your truth. And I have to tell you guys, like for those of you who are parents, now that I've got Jack and he's 8 months old, like I'm probably like on the psycho end of it now, where at some point I'm going to have to like give up a little bit, but I am so conscious of what I say around him. And also like if an ad comes on TV that talks about like your body can't heal itself or anything that I know is a limiting belief, I turn it off immediately. But we have to be so mindful of just that programming that comes in. And even today, what you pay attention to, right? Because we can program our mind at any point, you got to pay attention to be super mindful of what you're putting in your mind. Bambi's, I'm just going to check comments real quick. Limiting beliefs really set you backwards. Yes. Here's the other thing, Bambi, I'll say to that, because it's easy to also get a little bit like resentful about that, right? Because I felt that for a while, like, oh, I can't believe I have to rewire all this stuff. I think we are here to learn lessons. And I think the limiting beliefs that we learn early on set us up to later on go on and dissolve them, which really translate into our life's purpose of helping other people overcome the same limiting beliefs or experiencing the polar opposite. So that's a universal law, the law of polarity, which is for every trauma, for every negative thing, there is something good that's of equal on the other side. So really just knowing that. So I just wanted to share that there, Bambi. David, you're saying, how specific do our desired things need to be? Really good question. As specific as possible. Okay, as specific as possible. Your subconscious needs to create a picture of it. It works in pictures, which is why people will do vision boards, why they'll visualize. So it thinks in images. So it needs to be specific. So like if it's a financial goal you're going for, it's a dollar amount. If it's a health goal you're going for, it's just like a specific number for weight or whatever it is. I don't know if you heard me share this yesterday, but I laugh about this story about one of my clients who she said, this is a recent call we had, and she was like, I said the other day, like, I want more money. And I woke up the next morning and I had a gutter full of dimes outside my house. And that's how it works. You'll just say like, I want more money. You'll be walking down the street and you'll find a penny and you have been given more money. Okay. So the more specific, the better. And this book that we're doing this series out of, Ask and It Is Given, is so powerful. So I really recommend each of you get it, but it's going to help you understand that anything you ask for, you can get. Anything. And that usually the challenge is not that we ask for too much, it's that we ask for too little. And that's, again, just a limiting belief. It's conditioning to don't ask for too much. We get in this weird scarcity mode. Like if I have, again, I'll just speak to money here. Like if I have more money, then there's less for somebody else. Have you ever heard anyone say, well, I don't want to be too healthy because if I'm too healthy, then there's less health for somebody else, right? It doesn't work that way. So we have this programming that we have to release, but specific is good. And I always shoot for something that I have no idea how I'm going to get, but it feels really good and exciting and expansive to me. So that's how I do it. So I don't even know where I am, but I love this dialogue. These comments are amazing. So keep them coming. All right. How do you know what frequency you're on and whether you have resistance or not? All right. So that's really what we're trying to explore here is, how do you know if you have resistance to the thing that you want? It's because of how you feel. So your feelings are your body's way of telling you what frequency you're on and whether you're moving closer to the thing that you want or whether you're moving farther away. So you know you're having resistance to what you want if you feel bad. All right. So this would be a great time if you got the download, elisearcher.com/resistance to pull it out, because we're going to be using it tonight and for the rest of the series. But this would be if you're feeling any of those lower level emotions, guilt, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, depression, even boredom. Boredom's kind of like that gateway to lower level emotions. Because again, the thing you want it because of how you think it's going to make you feel. Right? You don't want like $1 million. I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm showing up for me, so I'm just going to use it. You don't want $1 million because you think it's going to make you feel lack and scarcity. You want it because you think it's going to make you feel expansion. You don't want the car to have the car. You want the car because you think it's going to make you feel excited, cool, sexy, free, right? Like you want it because of how you think it's going to make you feel. So that feeling of how you think it's going to make you feel, you have to match that first. So the higher the higher feeling you're having, the more of a match you are for that thing. Is this making sense? It didn't make sense to me for a long time, but I'm hoping it makes sense to you guys, because it actually is really, really profound when you get it, and it's very simple. Yes, law of attraction. I'm seeing the hashtag in there. Yes, absolutely. So that is it. It is, and it's actually, it's even a higher level law than law of attraction. And I love that you shared that. So law of attraction is a secondary law. Law of vibration is actually the primary law, which is that everything vibrates, right? Everything vibrates. And so that's really what we're working with here. Law of attraction, like attracts like. So that's exactly it. But like really digging in and studying these universal laws is so helpful, because it teaches you how do you exist in this world in a successful way. Jan is saying, yes, it makes sense. Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. So glad you're here, Jan. Okay. So let's talk about, okay. So this is when pull out your emotional guidance scale document. If you don't have it yet, go to elisearcher.com/resistance. It's free, download it. And I want you to have it while we go through this together. So your goal here is to, where are we? Continuously like know how to take yourself up the scale. Okay. It's to know how to take yourself up the scale anytime, regardless of what's going on in your life. So you can get closer and closer to that vibration of the thing that you want. And it has to be, again, regardless of your outer circumstances. Okay. So I used to not understand that I could control how I felt. I used to be totally at effect of everything around me. So something quote unquote bad would happen in my world and I would feel bad. Something good would happen and I would feel good. We have to flip it. So I want to just take you through a quick exercise, because a lot of people don't realize that they're in total control of their emotions. So I want you right now to think about something that feels stressful when you think about it. Maybe it's your email inbox. Maybe you're wanting to release some weight. Maybe it's money. I don't know. But just think about something that's creating some stress for you right now in your life. Okay? And I want you to notice as you have that thought, how do you feel in your body? You feel stressed, right? You feel anxious. You feel nervous, right? Now, I want you to think about something that you're really grateful for. Okay? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's beautiful weather today. Maybe it's a new home. Maybe it's just getting to be having some peace in this space together tonight. But I want you to notice how it feels in your body when you think about that. Okay? It feels good, right? It feels grateful. It feels restful, calm, probably peaceful, at ease, right? And so I want you to notice the fact that nothing changed right now in your outer circumstances, but the way you felt, you could immediately influence how you felt. And how did you do it? By what you thought. So the thinking, feeling loop means that every emotion in your body is derived from a thought that you have. Your thoughts create your emotions. Okay? So it's that simple. You have complete control over how you feel. And it's by learning how to harness the power of your mind and your thoughts. So again, and it takes practice. It does take practice. So I will say that when I was really doing some hardcore rewiring, it was like 3 weeks of really intense, like, I know this, but these limiting beliefs are still showing up and I'm still feeling bad and yada, yada. And I was on a journey of like years of kind of dabbling in this before then. So it wasn't just 3 weeks for me of rewiring. It was honestly years. And there's still stuff that I'm doing, but it was really like when I decided to really go for it and change this and change it fast, it was about 3 weeks of hardcore, like having to notice every time I felt bad in my body and link it back to, oh, what was I just thinking that made me feel bad? Because I know that I was just thinking something that's actually a limiting belief, because that's how your body tells you you're thinking a limiting belief, which is just a lie, okay? Is that it feels bad. That's it. That's it. And again, when you're feeling bad, you're not at the frequency of what you want. So you're resisting it. You're actually creating resistance to the thing that you want. But so the beautiful thing again is, do you see how you have complete control? And we have to really understand this, is that you have complete control at any given moment to shift your. So let me answer a question. Okay, are we live again? Good, good, good. Okay, we're live. All right. Woo! Internet connectivity issues are not ideal on these. So let me answer. Kylie's saying, what if you don't know exactly what you want? I would love to find my purpose, but I have no idea what it is. Yeah, Kylie, I think that's a great question. I would honestly just focus on feeling good. I would focus on, like, the more you focus on not knowing something, the more you're going to not know it. So it's focus, right? Whatever we focus on expands. So I would pay attention to how can you just start to feel better throughout the day, which is a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this series. And notice that as you feel better, notice the ideas that drop in, because what's happening is as you feel better, you're rising to a higher frequency, and the ideas that drop in are going to be better. They're going to be higher vibration. They're going to be more pure. So you'll start to get nudges like, oh, reach out to this person, take this course, take this class, but don't put pressure on yourself. Like I think our purpose is to come and experience the fullness of who we are and experience all the emotions and learn to have greater capacity for joy and love. And so I think we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves with purpose, but the more that you allow yourself to just feel good in the moment and practice a lot of what we're talking about, the more you're going to have ideas that drop in that also help you experience more of that good. So I hope that helps. Bambi's saying you have no time for technology problems, right, sister? Right. I'm unavailable for technology problems. Yes. Okay. So All right, emotional guidance scale. So I want to talk to you about this because I want to get into one practice with you tonight that's really powerful. So the way that this book organizes the practices is there's 22, you're so welcome, Kylie. There's 22 different practices in this book. So what they do is they help you get into more of, they help you release resistance from what you want, but it lets you kind of gauge with where you're starting from. So are you starting from a peak emotion, right? Like a really high vibration, which would be joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation? Or are you currently at a really low vibrational point, which would be like hatred, rage, jealousy, insecurity, guilt, fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness, right? So kind of using your download that you got as your reference. So what we're going to do is we're going to hone in on practices that you can use that, depending on where you identify at any point in time on the scale, you can use to move yourself up. And I think the key with all of this too is to not try to like push it or force it to go from like grief, despair, anger, all the way up to joy and gratitude. But this is where you would want to try to make incremental gains, right? And let it be easy. So let's say that you're currently at a point of, I'm just looking at the list, like, let's say that you're currently feeling worried about something. It's going to probably be too much of a stretch to try to go from worry all the way up to joy. But what's a thought you could think that would move you from worry to just doubt, right? Like, so worry is number 14 on the emotional guidance scale. Doubt's number 13. So if you move from worry to doubt, that would be a win. So letting it be easy for yourself, letting yourself take baby steps. Or how could you move from hopefulness to optimism? Tonight, we're going to be talking about how do you move anywhere from optimism up to the highest vibration, which is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. That's where like you're really attracting things, and you're attracting fast, and you're drawing in what you want in a really powerful way. So the goal is, again, you want to just feel some relief as you move up this scale. And that's how you know you've done it, is that you feel some relief in your body. So you maybe go from feeling really worried about something, and then maybe you think, well, has somebody else overcome this? Yeah, okay, so, maybe I don't see yet how I can overcome it, and I'm still doubting that I can. But if somebody else has, like, I'm not so much feeling worried anymore. Now I'm just feeling kind of doubtful that I can do it, right? So you just notice if you feel a little bit lighter in your body, you feel a little bit less of that restriction and resistance, just a little bit more open, that's a win. You've moved up the scale. So that's really, really good. So it does take practice. And I've shared with a lot of my community, like I had an eating disorder for so many years. And to do that, you've got to get so out of touch with your body where you're so disconnected from it. So this language of like checking in with your emotions and how do you feel would have been so foreign to me then. So I just want to really honor wherever you are in your process, like just the fact that you're even listening to this tonight, watching this tonight, you're so well on your way. And maybe you're in great touch with your body and it tells you instantly if there's something you need to do, or maybe you're not and you're really starting that journey, and that's beautiful. Wherever you are is perfect. But just know, like, the more you practice this, the easier it's going to get for you. And the more you check in and appreciate your body for the signals it gives you and how it guides you, the more it'll communicate with you, and it'll be easier and easier and easier. So just practice. And a lot of this comes from getting silent, from meditating, from looking inward instead of outward. It's a process, but you will, with time, get really good at it, and it'll become really easy for you. And you'll start to notice like that if you shift from a peak state down to a lower vibe state. So the first practice that I want to share with you tonight is one of my favorite practices, which is called the Rampage of Appreciation. The Rampage of Appreciation. So let me read to you how do you use this, what do you use this for? So Rampage of Appreciation, when to use this process. This is like when you're already feeling good and you want to feel better, okay? So when you want to parlay a good mood into an even better one, when you want to enhance your relationship with someone or something, when you want to deliberately maintain your current good feeling set point, when you want to maintain or even improve your current good feeling, when you want to deliberately focus upon something that's beneficial to your set point, when you're driving, walking, or standing in line, and you want to do something that's creatively productive, When there's something in your line of sight that could potentially take you to a place of negative emotion and you want to maintain control of your own vibration. When your own thoughts or the words of someone you are with start off in a potentially negative direction and you want to control the direction of the subject matter. Or finally, when you're aware that you're experiencing negative emotion and you want to change the way you feel. So Abraham Hicks recommends you use this process if you're going anywhere from number 1, right? So peak emotions, which are joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, all the way down to number 5, which is optimism. So again, reference your guide for this. And if you need to download it, elisearcher.com/resistance, you can download your free guide and reference it, but that'll make it easy. So this is, if you're between 1 and 5 right now, this is a process you use. So this will speed up what you want coming to you. And the way that I love how Abraham Hicks say it, they say, it's like you want to milk it. So like you're feeling good already, you know you're at a high vibration and you just want to milk it. You just want to like accelerate it. You just want to feel even better. And it draws things in fast. Like I've been in a pretty darn good place emotionally, like for a few days now, and that feels really good to have that consistency. And so I've just been like milking it. I've been doing this a lot. And today through that process, I like had the thought of, I need a video editor, and literally like a few hours later, like the perfect video editor for me reached out to me on LinkedIn, said, hey, I'm next to you. I'd love to meet with you, and yada, yada. It was like, perfect, easy, done. I was thinking about, gosh, I want to set up more streams of income because I know millionaires have multiple streams of income. My coach texts me an hour later, is like, hey, are you interested in finding about investment opportunities through me? Done. And it was easy. So when you're feeling that way and you milk the good feeling and you allow yourself to keep going, the things you want come towards you faster, and it's more easy and effortless. So one of the things, and I think I was doing this subconsciously for a while I kind of learned this stuff, but it's really dawned on me how powerful it is. The word that I say more than anything else throughout the day is thank you. It's thank you. And I've noticed that I said that before things were really great on the outside. I would say it when I felt something good. I would say it when I felt that shift from here to here. I would say it when I had an aha. I would say it when I had a realization. I would say it when I got a little evidence that what I was doing was working. And it's become an embodied practice now of just such utter appreciation that I feel really darn consistently in my body. And that comes from saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you throughout the day. So the rampage of appreciation is literally, here's how you do it. It's you being really appreciative of the things in your environment. That is it. But the way that you would do it specifically is you look around your current environment and you find something to appreciate. Now, here's the key. You're not trying to force anything. Again, the more you force, the more you push, the more resistance you create. So you're finding something that's easy for you to feel thankful for. So I do this practice every morning with my son as well when I'm feeding him, is we look around. I look around. I like to think he does this with me. He's, I don't know if he's there yet or not, but I look around and I'll say like, what do we appreciate today, baby? And I'll look and I'll be like, you know what? I appreciate your crib, and I appreciate the color and how great it looks in your room. And then I feel that feeling of appreciation and gratitude, because when you feel gratitude, that's when you're in that really peak state that draws what you want in really fast. And I allow myself to feel that feeling of gratitude. And then I'll notice something else, and it'll be like, oh, what else do we appreciate? Wow. Well, I really appreciate the people who thought to create this crib, and then the people who actually built it, and then the people the Amazon delivery driver who drove it to our house and dropped it off. And then I really appreciate my husband, Jason, for building it. And it's just that, it's that rampage. It's like, I really like this. I appreciate that. Thank you for this. I'm grateful for this. I really like how this is going, because our brain defaults to the negative, right? My brain wants to default to the negative. And I know there are questions coming in, which are great. So I'm going to get to those in a minute. So the key is you have to be proactive about this. You have to start to proactively notice and appreciate things. So it is a practice. So I do this every single morning. In the book they recommend. So Laura, you asked, what's the name of the book you're referring to? It's Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. So in this book, they recommend 10 to 15 minutes a day. So if this is not something you're accustomed to, I would say like set a timer and as soon as you can in the morning, start doing this. So set a timer and you know what, if you can do it for a minute before it starts to feel tedious, do it for a minute. That's fine. Like, that's great. Again, this is about not pushing yourself into it. The moment it starts to feel bad or it feels like weary or tedious, stop it. That's your key with all of this is when something starts to feel bad, you stop it. Okay. But, try to go for as long as you can. And then throughout the day too, your default might be to like, your brain might default while you're driving to worrying. Make that switch instead. Like, this is where you are going to push yourself a little bit because it's going to be not a habit for you yet. When you're driving, start to notice and appreciate like the buildings around you, the trees, the sun, the sky, your car, the fact that maybe you've got a heated seat in your car. Like, start to notice and pay attention to all of those things that you take for granted that for so many, and this is not about like feeling guilty, like you've got it in somebody else, and that's not what I mean, but just noticing like we're blessed and privileged. The fact that we're on this, this meeting right now and you're coming in from where you are and I am where I am, like, this is pretty darn cool stuff that we're able to do. Appreciation for that, right? But it has to be proactive. So, but again, let it be easy. So you're not trying to like find something you're not currently grateful for and find a way to feel grateful for it. No, you're not even thinking about that. So you're like not even worrying about that. Thank you so much for the hearts. It's what is easy to appreciate. Like, I might appreciate my glass. Like, I got these from Anthropology a while back. I'd wanted them for a long time. They were like such bougie glasses, but I liked them and I got them and I appreciate it. Like, I enjoy using them every day. So it's easy. It's easy. So there are two key sections from the chapter that I wanted to share with you. And these are quick, but then I'm going to go into answering questions. But I think these are really helpful to drive home why this works and why this practice is so beautiful. So the more you practice appreciation, the less resistance you will have in your own vibrational frequencies. The less resistance you have, the better your life will be. Also, by practicing this rampage of appreciation, you will become accustomed to the feeling of higher vibrations, so that if you ever revert to an old pattern of conversation that causes resistance in your vibration, you will notice it early on before the vibration gets too strong. Ooh, and there's a beautiful woman who's on tonight, one of my new 10K club members, and she and I were messaging on Marco Polo earlier today about she's noticing already when she pays attention to stuff that moves her to lower vibration that maybe used to be stuff that she wouldn't have noticed, but she's noticing it already and she's able to cut it off faster. And I do the same thing. Like, I even noticed, I told you guys I don't know if you follow I'm sure you follow my social some way, somehow, because you're here, but I used to be such a big Bachelor fan. And I noticed that I started noticing as I really practiced this, that like when I watched it, I would feel worse in my body. I would feel that vibration lowering because it's all drama, right? It's all, it's just negative stuff. But I notice even to this day, because it's still kind of like an old habit I'm getting out of, like last night, I'll share very openly, like it was late after this, like this is usually my bedtime. I'm like a grandma. But I just really felt that 8 o'clock at night, I got the download to do this at 8 o'clock at night. So I'm doing it every night. But after I completed it last night, I felt tired, not tired and like, I don't let myself get tired, but I've given a lot of energy during the day. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to check what's going on with Matt James. And it tells you how out of it I am, because I think it ended like a month ago. But I fell into watching that and for like 10 minutes and I was like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. Like, this is drama. It's gossip. It's totally like bringing my vibe down. And I shut it off. But old Elise would have let it go and go and go and go and go. And now I know I can notice it faster. So that's part of the great thing, is you're moving up your set point. Sometimes people will ask and say, well, do you go all over the place? Like, can you get really high and then get really low? Sure. But you're also, your set point rises, so that the more you practice this, the more those higher vibrations become your norm. Will you dip sometimes? Sure. But will it be down here? Probably not. It'll be here and then you'll be back up. So it's like a habit. You're rewiring. And the second reason why this is so powerful, they say every time you appreciate something, every time you praise something, every time you feel good about something, you are telling the universe, more of this, please. So you get to ask for more. You get to ask for more. And that's what I love about this. So I learned to, I used to think this stuff was like hokey, but I'm telling you, I've done it and it works. I bless my bank account. I bless when I receive money from a client. Thank you so much. More, please. And it's not in a place of like scarcity. So this is the thing with anything you want. It's probably another conversation for another night, but you can't need it in order to feel good. If you need it to feel good, you're actually pushing it away energetically. You have to feel whole and complete first without it, and then it'll draw more to you. But I used to ask for more money because I felt scared that I didn't have enough. And of course, no more came because my vibrational frequency was fear. When I learned to feel whole first, and then as stuff came, as better things came, I would say, thank you. I say now, thank you, more, please. And it comes and it's easy. And you have to remember, like, you live in an expanding universe, an expanding world. So you are meant to expand. That's why you reach a certain level and then you want to go higher. And we make ourselves wrong for that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how you're wired. So we got to stop making ourselves wrong for desiring more. It's this concept of divine discontent, right? Like you're grateful. You're so grateful for everything you have and you're excited for what's next. So it's kind of that of like, oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I would love more of this, please. Like, you bless it more. Thank you so much. And you milk that. So is this making sense about Rampage of Appreciation? Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions on this practice. Let me look at the questions here. So we've got, David said, probably a limiting thought, but are we better served focusing on fewer large things, at least initially while we learn this practice, or is there truly no limit to what we can achieve and obtain? So there is no limit to what you can achieve and obtain. What I would do is I would focus on what stretches you, like what do you actually really want? Like just ask yourself, what do you want? You know? Nope. Okay. So if you haven't done this, like most people have not asked themselves what they want. So just journal about it, like write it down. What do I want? If there were no consequences or limitations, what would I want? You know, most people don't actually want to be billionaires. Like some people do, but most people don't. Like most people actually just want to have enough money to do whatever they want when they want to be completely financially free, right? Or they want love, they want great relationships, they want to feel good every day. So get clear first on what do you actually want. And then I'd kind of go through one thing at a time. So one of the things I have my clients do, which is like a Bob Proctor thing, is create a goal card, which is you write like, what's your one primary goal in the next 90 days that you're going for? For me, a lot of times when I do it, it is a money amount, because when that money comes in, it allows me to do all those other things. So like right now there's a dollar amount I'm going for, and it's because it's going to allow me to buy the Tesla for Jason, help our family get a down payment on a new home, get a new team member, all of that. But the thing that's actually the baseline for that is the dollar amount. So that amount that I picked is stretchy enough that I don't know how I'm going to get to it, but it doesn't put me into panic. So I think it's kind of that balance. The other thing, especially if you're focusing on, let's say, money again, for an example, it has to have a purpose. So you can't say, I want $1 million because because you think it's going to make you feel secure. No, you have to feel secure first, and then the money comes in. But if you're going for a money goal, like tabulate what you want, because money's not, you don't want a bunch of money just to sit in your account. You want money because of what it's going to do for you. So what do you actually want? Do you want a certain vacation? Do you want a home? Do you want to hire a trainer? Do you want this or that? Like make a list of what you want and then tally up the dollar amount associated with that thing. And that's the dollar amount. And then this part used to throw me, but I understand it now. And I feel so much more ease about it. And with the goal that you set, you're going to put a date on it. So I should have my goal card on me. Yeah. So I am so happy and grateful now that ... and you pick one thing. So I am so happy and grateful now that I have X amount in my account, now that I've met my life partner, now that whatever. And then you put a date. I like to work in like 90-day chunks. So David, to your question of like big or small, I like to work on in 90 days, what would blow me away. So in the course of my life, I'm going to bring in way more than I've got on this goal card, but I've got the amount in the next 90 days that I'd like to bring in. But with the date, so you're going to give I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then you fill in the blanks with what you have and you write it in the present tense and then you put the date on it. Your date is a guess though. You're just guessing. So you're aiming at it. If it doesn't happen by the date, that's like, again, it's just every seed has a gestation period. We know how long it takes for a baby, right? It's about 9 months, 280 days. We know how long it takes for a carrot. We know how long it takes for a turnip. We don't know how long it takes for an idea. So you're guessing. So that's the only part that you don't know. So the key is to not get too like caught up in when it has to happen. Because if you think it has to happen by a certain time, it's, again, you're putting too much pressure and stress on it and you're creating resistance. So you're planting a seed, you're guessing it when it's going to come up and you're relaxing. Okay. So I hope that helps answer the question. Jan is saying, how many things do you work on at a time? One specific item, if weight loss and sales for business. Beautiful. I would pick one thing at a time to like really focus on. And it's just because your subconscious loves like a very specific goal. So I'd have a goal card that has one thing written on it. But what'll happen too, Jan, this has been my own experience, is because you're a whole person, one thing will feed into another. So as you, like, let's say you're focusing on your sales, as you grow your financial frequency and your sales skills, your confidence is going to rise and limiting beliefs that have held you back in every area are going to start to surface. You're going to start to notice more of, what were those limiting beliefs? And then you'll release them, right? Because you'll use these practices we're talking about. And you'll notice that, like weight loss, for example, a lot of times we hold on to weight because we're in fear, we're resisting something. Like a number of the women I work with are on a journey of releasing weight as well. And so oftentimes that weight is there because the body is just trying to protect you from attention, from unwanted stuff, right? Like it's the mind and body connection is incredible when you study it. But so as you up level in sales, you'll up level in everywhere else too. And you'll notice that you start to think differently. Like for me, as I set a higher financial target for myself, and I continuously ask myself throughout the day, as a 7-figure business owner, what would I be doing in this situation? Well, I also thought about what would I be eating? Like, how would I be feeding and fueling my body to be able to show up and perform at the level that's required? So I started shifting my food choices too. And it, of course, brings better health. So it's all related, but I would pick one at a time to give you some focus to it. David is asking, let me go back into questions. Are things being drawn towards us as we move up the scale, or do we need to achieve the highest level before we can manifest what we want? Ooh, good question. They're being drawn towards you. So this is exciting. And this is why I love this book, is that as soon as you have a thought of something you want, it's on its way. This is how it works. This is how your thought is more powerful than the most powerful laser in the world. Have you ever noticed, like, you can think about someone that you haven't talked to in a long time, and then suddenly they text you? You got on the same frequency with them. It's so powerful. So the concept of ask and it's given, which is so great, is as soon as you think that thought, it's on its way. Now, the only way you block it is by not doing what we're talking about. The way you block it from coming to you is by thinking that thought and then going into, I can't have that. I'm not worthy. That's too much for me. Then it's like, again, you don't get what you want. You get what you are. So you have to you have to work on being a vibrational match for that thing, which is you feeling the emotion of that thing. But remembering that we're in time lag. So you think the thought, which signals it out to God, universe, formless substance, to start creating things and arranging them so that the thing you want can come to you. And then you just get to get excited about it. You get excited about it. You stay high vibe about it as much as you can. And if you dip, that's okay. You just get yourself back up as soon as you can and you keep going. You dust yourself off and you keep going. And just knowing that it is universal law. It must come to you when you have that clear thought, that clear intention, and you keep that elevated emotion and you keep practicing that again and again and again. It will be drawn to you. Now, depending on what you're wanting. So David, to your question, depending on what you want, it will determine how long it takes to come to you. And it's simply because it's the things that you have more resistance around will take longer. That's how it works. And so that, like, if you want, it's a certain amount of money, but you still have limiting beliefs that, like, you're not worthy of it or you can't have it, Well, it's going to take a while, possibly, for you to rewire those limiting beliefs. So it's there for you. Like Abraham Hicks talks about, you've got your vibrational vortexes full of everything you want, more than you could ever ask for in a million lifetimes. It's all there waiting for you. All you got to do is just get open to it coming, and then follow the divine action steps that show up, the ideas that show up as you stay in high vibration about it. But we got to be unattached to when and how it comes. Now, you'll have cool things show up along the way. You'll have synchronicities, you'll have opportunities, you'll have little things show up that are like, yes, I'm on the right track. I'll give you guys an example. So this is going to sound vain, but I'm just going to say it because it's one of my goals. One of my goals is to reach 1 million followers on social media. And part of that, like the reason why is I think what I have learned is so needed and so powerful in the world that many people, if not more, need to know this. Like, I genuinely believe that. I am nowhere near that right now. Okay. Like, you guys see my numbers. I'm nowhere near that. And that's okay. But I visualize, like when I'm visualizing this, I see like my name and I see 1 million. Okay. So but I don't have a date on that one, because that one is probably, again, that's a big seed that I'm planting, especially from where I'm starting. So who knows? It may take years. Maybe something really cool happens and it takes less than that. I don't really care. Like, I'm just excited about serving everyone who's here right now. And I know I know it will happen at some point, and I'm not worried about it. But I had a client of mine the other day send me a screenshot of a reel I had done on Instagram. And she said, "Oh my gosh, you're showing up on my, like on the Explore page for me. I think you're trending." Now, I don't actually think I was trending. And this is like my knowledge of reels. I probably need to get deeper. I think it was shown to her because it was one I had just done. So maybe if somebody knows reels better than me, you can tell me if I actually was trending or not. I don't think I was. I didn't have enough views on it, I don't think, to actually be trending. But when she said that to me, I was like, yes, thank you. I am. That's awesome. I took a screenshot and I was like, thank you. It's almost like a little joke from like between me and the universe. Like, oh yeah, okay. Like, we're on the right track. This is fun. So you get to kind of, like, I play with spirit. Like I have fun with it. I enjoy it. Like, for me, 28 is a really important number in my life. And so I'll notice, like, I see 28 every hour on the hour, and I'll notice, like, I'll be thinking about something that I want, or I'll be like feeling really good. And I just kind of laugh and I say, thank you. It's like, oh yeah, thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the nudge. I'm on the right track. So you can just have fun with it and notice as you get these little synchronicities that tell you you're moving closer to your goal, and you just have fun with it. Okay. So I hope that answers the question. Let me know if it didn't. Can you share your goal card format? I think I answered that question, but let me make sure. I am so you started off, it's very specific. I'm so happy and grateful now that ... fill in the blanks. I have $1 million in the bank. I've met the love of my life. I have 1 million followers on social media. It needs to be in present tense. And then you date it. You give a date to it. You need to write it down on paper, because what happens is when you're writing it down, your brain, so you're going to write this down. You're going to keep it on you all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. You're going to keep it in your pocket. You're going to keep it, ladies, you're going to keep it in your bra, like keep it where you need to keep it. And then you're going to pull it out all day long. It's going to be the first thing you look at in the morning. It's going to be the last thing you look at night. Every time you go to the bathroom, stop checking your phone, look at your goal card, and your brain's going to create an image of the thing. So like, I have a number on mine that I'm going for. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm not even going to say it right now, because it's a number that I'm like, this is a stretch, but I'm so happy and grateful that I've had my first blank month. Okay. First X amount of money month. So when I look at that throughout the day, my brain gets that image of the number in its mind. And what I'm doing is I'm conditioning. So again, I'm putting that number into my conscious mind, and I'm repeating it enough times throughout the day that it's going to start to sink into my subconscious. And once it has sunk into my subconscious, then my subconscious is going to go to work finding ideas, opportunities, ways to make it happen. But it needs to be physical, and it needs to be something you can touch, because of that physical connection that you're going to create. When you feel it, it lights up a certain set of neurons and cells in your brain that are wired to help you attract what you want. Okay. So does that help with the goal card format? Let me know if you had other questions on that. Caitlin's saying, this goal is right around the corner for you. Yes, sister, I receive it. Thank you. And that's another thing, guys, like when somebody compliments you, when they say like, oh, you look great today, or, oh, you're doing so well, stop saying you're not. Because you're rejecting it. You're creating resistance around it. Somebody says, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing with your social media. Thank you so much. I received that. Oh, you look beautiful today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like, stop pushing it back. Every time you get that feedback, that's the thing you actually want. Accept it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. More, please. All right. So this is that. I think that's it. I was planning on this being a 30-minute. Of course it wasn't. I think the key. So a few things in closing. And if you have any more questions, pop them in the comments. You guys are so freaking amazing. I love these questions, by the way. Thank you. The key is like, don't push or force this. So let it be easy. Let it be easy. We've been trained and conditioned to push, to force, to make it hard. When you make it hard, you create more resistance around it. So it's if we just look at nature and how it works and just you like model after nature, like water flows and it gets to what it wants easily and quickly. It takes the path of least resistance. Okay. It's the same thing. You're going to be like water. Oh, thank you so much, James. I'm glad you enjoyed this. So don't push or force it. Like, let it, this is what I have to remind myself because I was conditioned. Things had to be hard for so long. Let it be easy. The easier I let it be, the more I get what I want. That's it. That is it. So resources that are going to help you with this, I would say, so in terms of, I'll share the things that I do that I think would be helpful. And then I'll share some other people. My podcast, She Sells Radio, whether you're man, woman, non-binary, I don't care. Like if you're into this stuff, listen to the podcast. It's going to speak to you. On my social, like especially YouTube, if you want more video content like this, at Elise Archer. And then some other like mentors of mine, people I follow that you can really dig into that are awesome, that are going to take your learning deeper. Bob Proctor. Oh my gosh, like the granddaddy of all of this. His stuff is so good. My girlfriend, Allison Chavez. She's incredible. Follow her. And then books that are really, really helpful. Think and Grow Rich, Science of Getting Rich, You're a Badass at Making Money, I would say are the three to really dig into. If you're focusing on increasing your, really, it helps. These things are going to help you get anything you want, but especially if you're focusing on bringing in more money, then they're going to be really great for it. So keep marking your calendars every Monday through Thursday through April. I'm going live, y'all, sharing the practices. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad it spoke to you. Thank you guys so much who joined live. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bambi, for saying that. I will achieve my targets. Thank you. I received that. Thank you so much. And will you? You guys are amazing. DM me if you have questions. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm not gonna watch The Bachelor. I'm gonna go to sleep. All right. Have a great night, guys. I will see you all tomorrow night. Bye.